as we're nearing closer the end of the season, there is just 13 games left to go. Derby have a range of players out of contract, and a lot of people have been questioning who should we keep, who should we get rid of. Now, for me, I have two different lists. There's a list for if we stay in League One and a list for if we were to get promoted to the Championship. Now, I'm going to go through that in this video and explain why I believe each player should stay depending on the league and what really makes sense. Now, Derby, I believe, have around 10 players out of contract this summer, and obviously it's going to be another rebuild period, as we expect. We're only, 2 years out of administration. We're still going through that process of rebuilding the club and rebuilding the squad to where it needs to be. And now, into the summer window, we're going to be in a position where we can spend transfer fees. Now, I don't expect the club to spend a lot of money, whatever league we're in, but it's something which is going to have to be spent at some point to bolster the squad. So I'm jumping in this video to ask you to hit that subscribe button. It is completely free and it really helps out the channel. Make sure you like and comment your thoughts on the out of contract players and who you think should stay. Now, the players we have out of contract are Craig Forsyth, James Collins, Joe Wildsmith, Corey Smith, Tom Barkhuizen, Louis Sibley, Liam Thompson, Kweku Adoro, Conor Horahan, and Darren Robinson. Don't think I've missed anybody. I might have done. Let me know down in the comments if I've missed anybody. But they are the ones who I believe are out of contract this summer. And I remember Paul Warne saying in an interview just after Christmas about players having stipulations in their contract that would give them extensions and things like that. Now, for me, I think that will be for players along the lines of Craig Forsyth, who's towards the end of his career. I believe he's 34 now. I believe he'll have had an appearance-based stipulation. Probably the same with Louis Sibley and Liam Thompson, but we'll find out about all of those towards the end of the season. Now, we're going to look into first who I would get rid of if we are still in the League One. Now, if we're still in League One, there are 4 players who I wouldn't be opposed to seeing them move on, and that is Scott Loach, Conor Horahan, Martin Waghorn, and Kweku Adoro. Now, Kweku Adoro came in off the back of some excellent performances in the pre-season friendlies. He was on trial, and I genuinely thought he was going to be the next big thing for us. Pretty similar to how when Jayden Bogle broke through, there was no right backs available, so he stepped up into the team. Kweku Adoro played that friendly on trial and looked excellent, but then has never really found a way into the first team. So it wouldn't be a shock to me to see him move on in the summer, for him to seek first team football, or for us to move on and away from what was a completely different style of football that he was signed for. Conor Horahan, another player who I wouldn't be opposed to see move on. Now, he is the captain of the club at the moment. He has been very instrumental this season. But I think on occasion, and I'm not sure if you'll agree with me, let me know down in the comments, but I think on occasion it's shown, his age is shown in performances. Go back specifically to the Peterborough game where he just seemed nowhere. Like, some players' legs just seemed to have gone that game, and he was one of the key ones that you could point out. And that's not the only game this has been a problem. It's happened a few times this season, and it's games like that where he doesn't fit Paul Warne's philosophy of strong, athletic, quick, hard-working. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't work hard, but it's like he's not got the legs to do what other players could do. Next up, we're going to talk about Martin Waghorn. Now, Martin Waghorn at the start of the season, I'd have said get him a new contract, but having not really played since we played Fleetwood earlier in the season in the EFL Trophy, he didn't really play much before that either. I think it's probably one where we cut our losses and move on and try and get in a younger striker to fill that void. And then Scott Loach, obviously, third choice goalkeeper right now. He's one that I wouldn't mind seeing move on. Obviously, we've got the likes of Harry Evans, Jack Thompson, is it Lewis Ridd coming through the academy system. So maybe give them an opportunity to be up and around the first team more consistently. Or it could be a case of Loach stays so that one of those could go out on loan. Now, obviously, that leaves a host of players that I'm keeping. That would be Corey Smith, Louis Sibley, Liam Thompson, Craig Forsyth, James Collins, Joe Wildsmith, and Tom Barkhuizen. Now, I think Liam Thompson, Louis Sibley, quite self-explanatory, young lads. I'd keep Darren Robinson as well. His contract expires this summer. All young lads, keep them about the squad. They know what the building's about. They know the place. So they're ones which I'd keep. Wildsmith, for me, should be our number one keeper. So, like, if we go up, I'd keep him as well. So it's sort of keep him about. James Collins obviously had an excellent season. Just suffered a bad injury, which is going to cost us this season, in my opinion. Hopefully, we can still push on and get promoted with the signing of Dwight Gale, which is yet to be confirmed. And Craig Forsyth, obviously, I think he's been brilliant this season. Up until his injury, I think he was one of our best performers. I think he shores up the back line. Obviously, getting towards the end of his career, so it would be time to look for a younger left back, but that is something which we can do while he is still around the place. And I think Tom Barkhuizen is self-explanatory. He's performed very well this season and has one of the minutes per goal in the league, so I'd keep him about 2. Next up, we're going to talk about who I would keep if we were to go up to the Championship. Now, obviously, I think my lists are pretty similar for Championship or League One. There's just a couple of changes which I'd make because obviously the Championship, now, I'm not saying it's an easier league by any means, but the football is completely different in the Championship than it is to League One. Now, if we stayed in the Championship, the players which I would get rid of, again, Scott Loach, Conor Hourihane, Martin Waghorn, Kwaku Adoro, and this time, so the players I'd get rid of in the Championship are quite similar to the ones in League One. So Scott Loach, Conor Hourihane, Kwaku Adoro, Martin Waghorn, but this time we've added Corey Smith onto the list. Now, I've added Corey Smith onto the list because I think if we go up, I think we should look to make Ebou Adams, the loan signing, permanent. I think he's been incredible so far, and hopefully he keeps up that form. And that would obviously negate the need for Corey Smith and Conor Hourihane or one to stay, sort of thing. Because I don't think that deal would be possible if we were still in League One, if that makes sense. Same reasons for Kwaku, Waghorn, Hourihane, and Loach. Just think it's time for them to move on. Conor Hourihane will have done what he wanted to do when he joined Derby, which was get us back promoted. Scott Loach will have done his job as a third choice keeper, and there'd be better quality options out there. Martin Waghorn, the same as previous. We've not seen him enough to be able to want to keep him, and he's only getting older, so it wouldn't be good to have those injuries around in the Championship. Now, that does mean that the list has got smaller for players we keep, but it's a very similar list again. Keeping Craig Forsyth, James Collins, Louis Sibley, Liam Thompson, Joe Wildsmith, Darren Robinson, and Tom Barkhuizen. Now, obviously, we've also got Ebou Adams on loan, which expires in the summer. That is one which I'd look to make permanent. But obviously, there's a long way to go until the summer. Some of these decisions might not even get made until the season's ended. Now, I think that there's going to be a few players whose contract get extended just by clauses in their contract, and I do think that Craig Forsyth and James Collins are going to be those players. I think Collins will have had an appearance target, same with Forsyth. I think that's the same with Sibley and Thompson. Now, the one question mark which I have is Darren Robinson. Now, obviously he is out of contract in the summer and was rumoured to have interest from Aston Villa, Southampton, I believe Norwich earlier this season. I made a video earlier on why I believe we should keep him. Now, the situation has quite changed there with Erin Cashin signing a new deal. That could obviously stunt his growth to the first team. Now, I still believe that we should keep Darren Robinson, but I believe the league we're in will determine whether he stays or not. If we go up, I think he'd stay. If we don't go up, I think he may move on to pastures new. What team, I don't know, but I believe Derby would be due compensation. Obviously, it wouldn't be a lot of money, but hopefully he's got a clause in his contract for an extra year, and that would solve that problem anyway. So if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Comment down below which of the out of contract players you'd keep, who you'd get rid of. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about that. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. Really impressed with the support on the channel recently. We've just hit 200 subscribers. So I'll catch you in the next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.